Hello and welcome to Spirit Among Us. In the battle of our lives, God doesn't want us to rely on our own strength. Our power and our strength and our energy are all limited. We only have a certain amount. We can only go so far. We can only do so many things before we burn out. And that is why God doesn't want us to go through our lives alone. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 10. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in His mighty power. Ephesians 6, the same chapter that talks about the armor of God, Paul gives this command. Be strong in the Lord, in His mighty power. Now, what I want to be clear about here in this verse is that he is not just telling us to be strong. He isn't just saying, get it together, guys, toughen up, push on through. He's not saying any of those things. Instead of telling us to use our own strength, instead of telling us to buckle down and fight through, he's telling us to draw our strength from God. So this is good news. There is strength and power found in Jesus, and He has given us access to that. He is with us in our lives. He is by our side. We know that He's fighting for us, that He's given us an armor to equip. But He also wants to strengthen us, to empower us to walk through our lives. When we're feeling beaten down and worn out, when we can't go on anymore, He is our strength. And guess what? He is always enough. Whenever we draw to God, whenever we call on His name for strength, for renewed strength and power and energy, He will always deliver. He will always empower us. He will always help us through. Because He is always enough. So we have this great news here. But this also requires us to do something. Having Jesus' strength requires humility. We need to recognize that we can't do it on our own. And we need to stop trying to do it on our own. And instead to rely on Him. Now, if we hold on to our pride, if we refuse to be humble, it's going to be very difficult to recognize that we can't do it on our own. And it's going to be difficult to rely on Him. But when we humble ourselves before God, we receive His strength for our lives. Then and only then will He give us His strength. He's not going to force it on us, but He will give it when we ask. So when we humble ourselves before God, and when we rely on Him, the strength from Him is unlike anything else. Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Renewed strength is found in Jesus. For those who hope in the Lord, there is renewed strength. When our hope is in Him and our strength comes from Him, we will be able to run and not grow weary. We will be able to walk and not be faint. This is the promise that we have for our lives. God doesn't want us to do it alone. God doesn't want us to rely on our own strength because our own strength is limited. But we need to choose to rely on His strength. We need to choose to humble ourselves and admit that we can't do it all on our own. We need Him for this. And when we do that, the strength He gives is always enough, and it's more than enough. So as we look ahead in our lives, the path may look steep. Life isn't easy, and that's just the truth. We will get tired and worn out in life. But when we call on the name of Jesus Christ, He will always strengthen us to keep on fighting. Thank you for watching, and God bless.